Audionovelas 2.0, jiji.
The golden dessert has controlled my entire being. When I finished the golden dessert, Clara was looking at me, and with a smile she tells me, "You can eat these types of desserts 2 to 3 times a week." Clear, that is a week. Really? Elizabeth, you know what days are? Yet. Great, that speeds things up. A week has 7 days and 1 month has 30 days. Oh, I understand, that's very good. I will be able to eat the golden dessert 2 to 3 times every 7 days. Hi, Elizabeth, you seem happy to be our king's mistress. I froze. I think, it's true, I agreed to be a lover. This is what my purity is worth. It only took 2 golden desserts to cajole me. That whatever has to happen happens. I don't care about anything anymore. I won't think about anything else. Clearly tell me what I have to do. Like, what do I have to do? Elizabeth, tell me the truth. Have you ever had experience with the opposite sex? No. I have no experience. This time, Clara thought for a few seconds and answered, "That's good, you'll just have to let yourself go." That doesn't answer my question. It's because there's no answer to your question, but it's already getting dark and you'll have to sleep, so I'm leaving. And she just left. I couldn't even stop her. I'm tired. After resting I will feel better. I go up the stairs exhausted, and T1 talks to me. Elizabeth, Miss Elizabeth. What's up T1? Right now I'm very tired. Yes, I know, Elizabeth, but the bathroom is ready. Wait, the bathroom, T1, you said a bathroom. Yes, Elizabeth, the best thing in this type of situation, when one is tired, it is best to take a good bath, is what the king said. That lifted my mood a bit. Passing the ultra-luxurious bedroom, I reached the bathroom and was shocked. What I saw was a large bathtub. Measuring 40 feet long and 30 feet wide, it is 6 feet deep, with a small part where the depth is perfect for sitting. I can feel the warmth of the water, and it has a nice smell of medicinal flowers. It's nice. It also has candle lights with beautiful gold patterns. Just like the previous room, this bathtub was also ultra-luxurious. I could see the bathtub was pure white and super polished, and this is it. I can see some little squares. It says shampoo. That is a shampoo. It is used to wash the hair. Cla, clear, what are you doing here? Miss Elizabeth, I came to explain how to use the bathtub. Wait, because you start to undress. It's not obvious, Miss Elizabeth, I'll get into this bathtub with you, and wait until you undress. Wait, I'm not used to this kind of thing. Well, even if you say that, you will still have to get used to it, because in the future you will have to enter with the king and Elsa. She's right, but it's very embarrassing. Alright. Once I undressed sadly, Clara taught me how to use shampoo and soap. She also taught me that this bathtub was called a jacuzzi and that the king liked it a lot because it was super relaxing. Clara explains to me that before entering the jacuzzi one has to wash one's body and that this strange thing that protruded from the side of the big bathroom room was used to wash one's body. Miss Elizabeth, turn that blue knob. It's cold, very very, cold, clear evil. This shower has hot and cold water. Now try turning the reddish one with a little bit of the blue one. Woohoo, this is better, it's nice. Miss Elizabeth, you can adjust the heat or cold to your liking, just by turning the knob of the color of your choice. And this shampoo is used this way, look, squeeze it a little bit and a whitish substance will come out, and rub it into your hair just like I am doing. Try not to get it in your eyes because this will sting if it gets in your eyes. I understand. And after using the water we rinse the hair in this way. By doing this, one is removing all the dirt from the hair, leaving it more beautiful and soft to the touch. And finally, you can see this thing. Yet. We call it soap. This is used to wash the body together with this body sponge. With a little water rub it together and a little foam will be generated. With this one washes the body. Woo, yes, how nice. And then we went into the jacuzzi. Wah, this feels great, I can feel all my tiredness slowly disappearing. And that's not all, Miss Elizabeth, say activate bubble bath. Activate bubble bath. Wah, what is happening clearly? Calm down Miss Elizabeth, they are just bubbles, nothing dangerous is happening, try to relax and the bubbles will ease the tension in your body. It's true, I feel like he's giving me a massage. Hey, ha. Miss Elizabeth, try to save those words for our king. What? I can't hear you clearly, this is paradise, it's too good. Woo, Miss Elizabeth, don't fall asleep, glub glub glub, wah, Miss Elizabeth, hold on. Elizabeth, wake up Elizabeth, it's already morning. Miss Elsa, just one more minute, Elizabeth wake up, you have work to finish, a job. Opening my eyes, I could see a very luxurious wall above me. I froze and began to remember what happened yesterday. I think I fell asleep in the jacuzzi, where I am, the voice of T1 responds to that. You, Miss Elizabeth, fell asleep in the jacuzzi and was brought by Miss Clara, and she was changed into a nightwear, to later be put to sleep in the king's bed. Wait T1, did you see me naked? Yes Miss Elizabeth. What a shame, I want to die. Because Elizabeth says that. Like why, you saw me naked? Miss Elizabeth, I think you are misunderstanding something, my existence is the same as a talking rock, I do not have a human body, nor carnal desires, my existence only exists to fulfill the wishes of my king, and nothing more. When I hear that I think, oh, it's true, I was talking to T1 for so long that I completely forgot that he is an automaton, a golem, created by the king. It's true T1, ha 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 ha, it's just that you speak so fluently that I forget you're an automaton. Thank you, Elizabeth, it makes me happy to know that my king's creations are exceptional. Ha 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 ha, you're welcome T1, wait. What's up Elizabeth? I'm in the king's bed. That is correct, Elizabeth. They won't cut my head off for getting into the king's bed. No Elizabeth, as his future mistress, you have the right to sleep in the king's room and use some of the facilities that are not allowed to the public. Red, stay completely red. T1. What's up, Elizabeth? I am a lucky woman right? I don't know, Miss Elizabeth, I don't have enough information to answer that question. I understand T1, I'll ask you in a different way, I'm lucky to be the king's mistress. I don't know, according to the information I have about lucky, it means that one has good luck, but I think so, the king, compared to humans, is a being of great virtue and will and is willing to fight for what he wants. Thanks T1, that makes me happy. But now that we're talking, I have a problem. What a problem Elizabeth? This bed is too comfortable, it's so comfortable and warm, that I can't get up, rather, I don't want to get up. I understand, you want me to use the alarm in command mode. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good, please do it. When I finished my sentence, I heard Princess Elsa angry. Get up, Elizabeth, how much longer are you going to be sleeping? Wah yet, I jumped out of my bed and leaned on the floor unconsciously. And then listened to T1 speak, Elizabeth is ready. That. Miss Elsa, where are you? Miss Elsa is not in this place, she is currently in the Mecha realm. I get up puzzled and ask T1, then what was that voice? Use Miss Elsa's voice to wake her up as requested. It's not fair T1, that's scary, when Elsa gets angry it's very scary, try not to use your voice again. Understood, I'll use other means next time. Since you woke up I suggest you change your clothes, your previous clothes were washed and dried while you slept. When I looked at the clothes I was wearing, I could see a red fabric. Apart from being super thin, it's beautiful, it's soft to the touch, and it's transparent. I can see my skin through the fabric. I panicked, but relaxed when I saw that no one was in the room. I went over to the large framed mirror and could see myself through it. Woo, I was fascinated. I looked beautiful, I looked like a princess, my hair was beautiful and soft. I wonder how much these clothes cost. I don't know, Elizabeth, but Miss Clara requested these clothes for you, she said she would like them. Wow, thanks, send my thanks to Clara. I already did, and Miss Clara is happy. Thank you, tell me where my clothes are. His clothes are on that table, inside the first shelf. I approached the table and opened the shelf. When I put on my clothes they were soft and had a slight flowery smell. Miss Elizabeth, what do you want to drink? I don't know T1, what do you recommend? Currently, we have chamomile tea, green leaf tea or coffee available. You can also eat it together with bread, cookies, or bills. The king likes latte and some sweet bills. There will be no golden dessert. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Elizabeth, but the caramel flan is limited to a few days, due to its high concentration of sweets and sugars. If you ate it often, you would gain weight, but I recommend the coffee with milk and bills, the king likes it a lot in the morning. Or, if the king likes it, I'm sure it's good. And what happened to the roof window? It was closed so as not to disturb sleep. The king doesn't like to wake up with the sun hitting his face, he says it's annoying, and for that reason it was closed. If you wish I can open it. No, thanks. But I was confused when I looked out the window, it was different from what I remember. Besides, the bed was completely made up. I asked puzzled, what happened to the bed? It was accommodated. But when? Meanwhile, he looked in the mirror. And what happened outside? To save time, we moved while you were sleeping. Since we were going in the same direction, I followed the road until I found a detour and waited for directions to continue. You're serious? You moved on your own while I was sleeping? Yes, Miss Elizabeth, all this was asked and accepted by Mother. We have also exceeded the maximum distance that I can connect with Mother, so we are alone from now on. Whoa, that's a lot of information at once. Wait T1, first tell me, who is the mother? Calculating that they will meet soon, I deduce that it is acceptable to talk to him about Mother. Mother is Eve, the king's first wife, we call her Mother. Wait, the king's first wife, and Elsa, what about Elsa? Miss Elsa, has not yet accepted the king's proposal, therefore, she does not count as a wife, but as a suitor. If she accepted the king's proposal, Elsa would be the king's second wife. I understand, thank you. I have a lot of questions right now, but I don't have the time and mental strength to ask. And tell me about the distance you can connect with Mother. I can only say that I can talk to Mother some distance away from the kingdom. I can't tell anything else and the coffee is ready. I understand and thank you. I go outside and yes, we definitely moved places, these automatons are really smart. When I left, I could see a table prepared with a glass and some kind of shiny bread. I can't help but ask, what is this type of bread? G2 answers me, this is called an invoice, it is something difficult to explain so you will have to try it and you will know if you like it. That this weird colored thing in this cup, it's latte, may look weird to you, but the king loves it. When I taste it with my tongue, it is bitter, super bitter, I don't like it. Wait Miss Elizabeth, you have to add a little sugar, look at this. G2, hands me a mold with something white like dirt and a small spoon. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar and stir a little. After doing that and fearfully trying the café con leche, yummy, it's yummy. I tried to take a bite of this bill called cannon, it has dulce de leche inside. When taking a bite of the canyon bill, my eyes widened in surprise, it's delicious. After drinking the café con leche, return inside T1 and continue along the path. Shortly after following the path, T1 speaks to me. Miss Elizabeth, I can see that a group of people is 2 kilometers away. What did you say, T1? I said that a group of people is located 2 kilometers away. Yes, but what does 2 kilometers mean? 1 kilometer is a unit of length equal to 1000 meters. I did not understand anything. At a certain distance a group of people meet on the road. That, yes, I understand. Maybe they could be thieves. Miss Elizabeth, what do you usually do in this type of situation? Well, if they're robbers, we usually split up and half of us hide near the enemy group and the other half wait for them to get into position and move forward, or if it's a group that outnumbers us, we surround them. Now that we are a little closer, I can see them better. I don't think they are thieves. Apparently a cart had an accident and people are around it. I now can only see them as points. How far I can see? I can't answer that. Elizabeth, what do you recommend in this situation? Tell me, T1, if I wanted to help them, you would lend me your power. If it's something that doesn't interfere with the mission I can help a little, thanks, T1. As we got closer I could see a group of people. I know these people. I explained to T1, that this is a group of people who trade with our tribe, they sell and buy useful products, and that it would be beneficial for the tribe to help them and we could also buy something from them or sell something them. Thank you, Elizabeth, I am counting on your guide and when the time comes I will show you a list of products that we can sell, but it will be after everything is over. As we got closer, I could see that the group of traders grabbed what they could and ran to hide in the woods. Then I remembered the first time I saw T1, at that time I saw him as a big monster, but now, I see him as a great ally who can do almost anything. I tell T1 to slow down a bit and stay close to the cart and I would go down to try to talk to them. Once we arrived I got down from T1, and I could see that the cart compared to T1, it was tiny. It's like comparing a small flower against a big tree. It's completely natural to run for your life when you see T1, unless you know before. I approach the wagon and speak with great force. Oscar, Urza, it's me, Elizabeth, everything is fine, can you please come? Then I hear Oscar's voice. Elizabeth, are you sure that monster won't attack us? Yes, Oscar, everything will be fine. After a few seconds Oscar and Urza peeked through the fearful bushes. He could see that Urza was carrying a baby in his arms. Oscar, he is approaching slowly but surely. The first to speak is Oscar, while Urza is still in the bush. Hey Elizabeth, I don't know what's going on here, but could you tell me what that giant thing is? It doesn't look like a monster, but it doesn't look like it's alive. Well, a lot happened and it's hard to explain, but that's it. An intelligent golem, apparently they call them automata and this one is called T1, and remember don't call them a golem, that offends them. Oscar looked genuinely surprised to learn that this was an intelligent golem, and was even more surprised to learn that this golem could take offense, and speak to me somewhat in a panic. Wait, Elizabeth, are you telling me that this golem has feelings? I yell something annoyed at him. Oscar, I told you not to call them golems, he's an automaton and his name is T1, don't make him angry. When he hears me Oscar remains silent and somewhat fearful. I think, T1, he told me that calling them golem offended them. I don't know why if it offends, but I'm not that dumb to be near one of these angry monstrous automatons. After a few seconds Oscar seems to understand and lowers his head and apologizes. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I was rude, I ask for your forgiveness. That's good, I hope you remember, that if you know their names just tell them automaton and ask their name, apparently their names are important to them, and tell me Oscar what happened to them. Yes, see this, we were back to the Orca Kingdom, my wife gave birth in the town of Eslania, and that's why we were very late until her recovery, and since the eclipse is about to arrive, we couldn't hire adventurers to accompany us. On the way out a group of wolves attacked us. While we escaped one of the wheels of the cart broke and to save ourselves we had to let the horses go while we hid inside the cart. and we were deciding what to leave behind before walking to the Orca Kingdom, and then we saw T1, and we hid out of fear, and I can ask you, who is that girl behind you? Why, Clara, don't do that, you'll scare me to death, and how did you get here? Miss Elizabeth, that is not important now, we have to figure out how to solve this, remember that we have limited time. It's true, thank you Clara, tell me, can we take them with us? These people are trustworthy, they did a lot of business with us and with Miss Elsa, and they are more friends than merchants. Clara seems to reflect on this question. If they are friends of Miss Elizabeth, we cannot leave them to their fate. T1, I give my permission to allow them to use the interior dining room as a refuge and to enter the cabin if they wish. Elizabeth, are you sure to let them enter? T1. Yeah. Very well, from now on they are your responsibility, if they cause problems you will be responsible, understood? Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, T1, get I3 down, I can see some scratches, they're hurt. At your order, Miss Clara. I think it's true, these automata, they don't need anyone else to function well, I'm just a guide, how intelligent they are scares me. On the other hand, if Clara hadn't told me that she's an automaton, I would think she's a common human and current, or, Clara is waving at me, I think she wants me to talk to the others. I have to invite them, yes, Miss Elizabeth, I understand. Oscar, why don't you come with us? I promise you it will be much safer than going alone. P.E.P. But Elizabeth, the eclipse is coming, and it is very dangerous to return to the village. Don't worry Oscar, I don't know how to tell you, but right now I'm taking a big force to my town to defend it. I know it's hard to believe, but right now, this is the safest place you'll ever find in your life. Oscar looked surprised when he heard me and looks at T1, and is frozen when he sees that there was another identical one behind him, that other one was T2. Oscar fearfully asks me what that automaton is. I turn around and see the same automaton that healed my wounds and those of my companions when we were attacked by human riders. That, clear as this automaton is called. Yes, this is a healing automaton, we call it I3, I3 introduce yourself to the others. Yes Miss Clara, hello, I'm the healing automaton I3, I've come to treat your wounds. Oscar was surprised to see I3 speak so naturally, but he kept his composure and introduced himself. Oh, it's nice to meet you Miss Clara and I3, and thank you for your hospitality. Urza, come, everything is fine, and bring the baby, they will check it. Urza hesitantly approaches while holding his baby in his arms. When he arrives he says, My baby hurt his arm when the cart turned over, I tried to protect him with my body, but his arm was in bad shape. Then Clara spoke. I3, heal them. I can see that I3 approaches, turns his hand towards the baby and uses healing magic on him. I was surprised, it's the first time I see a golem use healing magic, I thought he would take out a potion and not magic. Urza looked much calmer when the baby arm returned to its place, and he thanked us repeatedly as did Oscar. Then another automaton appeared, but unlike I3, this automaton was male. I asked Clara, Clara, what is this automaton's name? This is H3, it's a repair automaton, it's quite useful in similar situations, and now I need authorization to disassemble your cart and store the objects and materials you have, in an empty object bag. Surprised Oscar almost screams. Bo, item bag, he has an item bag, that's amazing, item bags are very rare and having a free one to borrow is even rarer. I answer, yes, but if you are surprised by each thing, you will end up exhausting yourself. Apart from that, look at T1, he is an automaton. When he listens to me, Oscar's mouth falls open as he looks at T1. Now that you say it, it's true, I remember hearing some nobles from high society talk about King Ultraga first, possessing a unique golem, and that it was very large, perhaps Princess Elsa possesses one similar. I think, Now as I explain that you, is not the property of Miss Elsa, while I was thinking about something, Clara talks to them. I regret to inform you, that it is not that way, T1, does not belong to Miss Elsa, T1, just like I3 and H3 belong to our King Gabriel Estrella, and we are currently bringing reinforcements as part of the deal for the commitment of the Lady Elsa and our King. I think, he said it all, but he said something that worries me a little bit, and that's part of the deal. Clara, could you tell me what part of the deal you're talking about? Yes, Miss Elizabeth, I'm talking about the part where the king proposed to Miss Elsa, and she said that she would have to discuss it with her father first, and how our king deduced that they had trouble keeping their people and their first princess safe. The king has decided to send reinforcements to protect Miss Elsa's father until their future reunion. I was left with my mouth open. I am very, very surprised. I think, Miss Elsa was thinking all the time about the town and how to take care of her family. She even negotiated the defense of the town as part of her commitment, and I thought she was just being shy. Miss Elsa, I apologize for my foolish self. Now I see her with different eyes. Like me, Oscar and Urza had their mouths open. Oscar is the first to come out of the frozen state and asks us. La, Miss Elsa, is getting married, and to a king. Miss Elsa was always beautiful, but when she met a king, I always saw her hiding in her town reading books and never coming out, apart from King Gabriel the Star. I don't know that name, are you sure he's a king, Oscar remains frozen before Clara's furious gaze and speaks to her with a somewhat annoyed tone. Your name was Oscar, right? You have great courage, or great stupidity in trying to deny our king. You want me to kill you here and now. At these words, Oscar realized what he did wrong and quickly apologized. I'm so sorry, I'm stupid, I beg your forgiveness. At this, Clara relaxes and speaks. Okay, this time we'll let it slide, but remember this, if I had been Zero, he wouldn't have hesitated to cut your head off, keep that in mind in the future. Oscar lowers his head, yes, and thank you very much for your advice, Miss Elsa. This is taking a long time, let's start H3, dismantle that carriage and put away the materials, we have little free time left. At these words, I3, quickly moves towards the cart and using alchemy, disassembles the parts of the cart into wood and puts them away quickly. Surprised Oscar asks us. I3, you can use alchemy, and Clara responds. Yet. Oscar tells us. I have seen many types of golems throughout my life, some with rare abilities, but I have never seen one that could use alchemy, and their use of alchemy is much better than some alchemists I have seen. Please try not to refer to us as golems, that's an insult to us. If you don't know its name, call it an automaton and ask for its name. Oscar looked confused, but he nods and walks over to his wife at my side and Clara speaks again. T1, the preparations are ready, yes, Miss Clara. Alright, time to continue, T1, make a ladder for Miss Urza. Oscar looked confused when he heard them speak clearly with a ball in his hand, but he was more surprised when he saw that some structures began to be generated that made it easier to climb into the T1 cabin. Once Oscar managed to enter T1, he was fascinated. He said things like, "What an amazing fabric, what is this thing, woo, great, this glass is ultra quality, I can see through it like there's nothing, ouch. Honey, you are embarrassing me, stop acting like a child and behave yourself, or, sorry, I let myself go." No, nothing happens, I did something similar the first time I entered T1. Woo, Elizabeth, it's moving, how is it possible to move all this without horses or golems? He, I don't know Oscar, T1, I let you go in a straight line, let me know when you find a detour, as you wish, Miss Elizabeth. Elizabeth, that was that, it's the same voice as the little ball. Honey, calm down a bit, you look like a child. Oh, sorry, I've calmed down. Well Oscar, what if we first go to the dining room and talk calmly, Dining room, what a dining room? Urza, red-faced, says. Aha, aha ha 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 ha, what a shame, with everything that happened I was hungry, Elizabeth, you wouldn't have anything to eat. Urza, don't worry, we have plenty of food. T1, open the door to the dining room. Yes, Miss Elizabeth. Both Oscar and Urza were surprised to see that a door appeared out of nowhere behind us. Follow me. Walking through the door to the dining room, we were surprised with our mouths wide open. It was a large room, measuring 30 feet high, 50 feet wide, and 50 feet long. This more than a simple dining room, it looks like a palace. In one part was G2, with the same maid outfit with the list of meals in her hand, but that was the least of it. The amazing thing was the decoration, 2 large tables, with several beautiful chairs. The tables had a vase of various colors in the center, and several lights with complex structures that I cannot describe. The floor had beautiful flower designs that formed complex and beautiful patterns. The walls had a beautiful white color and other types of tables that had plates and cutlery. A few words slipped out of my mouth. It's good that we eat here. Oscar and Urza look at me with their eyes wide open, and surprised Oscar asks me, "This, Elizabeth, you invited us to eat here, or am I wrong?" Yes, I invited you, let's go. I walk to one of the tables somewhat awkwardly and sit down. Daring and Urza sit on the other side of the table so that we can see each other's faces. You could see the discomfort in their eyes. After looking around, they look at me with faces pleading for information. I want to tell them, don't look at me, I'm the same, but it would look bad, so I'll have to invent an excuse, or, that's Clara, my savior. With a smile I call Clara. Clara, come, sit next to me and keep me company. As you like, Miss Elizabeth. Once Clara sat next to me, I was able to feel much more secure. Very well, let's start. I know you have a lot of questions, but first we are going to order something to eat. G2, could you please give me the food booklet? After G2 brought me the notebook, I show Oscar and Urza the different types of food they can order. Just like me, they didn't know the names of the meals that were on the menu, but they were guided by the images. After a moment, Oscar ordered noodles with eggs and fried potatoes with apple juice. Urza ordered rice with salad and wolf meat and sweet orange juice. Since I had already tried rice and wolf meat, I ordered something called meatballs and rice with tomato sauce. I tried to order a dessert, but I was denied. Clara told me that if I ate desserts often I would gain weight. I wanted the golden dessert. Oscar and Urza were again surprised to hear G2 speak when he announced that everything would be ready in 20 minutes. Urza asks me, Elizabeth, can all automatons speak? As Clara noticed my hesitation, she answered for me, no, not all of them can talk, but most of the ones you can interact with can talk. Oscar asks again, but this time a little scared. I know, Miss Clara, when you say the majority, you are referring to a small group or a large group? A great group. Wait a second, how many exactly are we talking about? No, I know, Mr. Oscar, the number increases every day. Oscar asks once more, but now with a pale color. And, Miss Clara, when you say that the number increases, you mean that they are found in the ruins of a lost civilization, right? Wrong, Sir Oscar. Don't tell me they are created. That is correct, Mr. Oscar. Surprised Oscar asks without thinking. Like, how do they do it? It is impossible for me to give that information to a complete stranger. It's true, I'm sorry for my imprudence, I know that this type of information is secret and cannot be shared freely. I feel like I was left out, since no one said anything I decided to speak up. Oscar, do you remember where we were before? Yes, that voice we heard. I speak to him with confidence. Yes, that voice was from T1. T1 is a terabyte type automaton. When we were talking outside we were using the ball as a means of communication with T1. Or, that's amazing, and what does it mean, terabyte type? I think. It caught me, I don't even know what it means, I begged Clara inside for help and luckily I think she realized it. I don't know very well, the king didn't explain it well, according to what I understood, terabyte, it means, multi-purpose and all-terrain heavy transport vehicle. Sometimes I heard the king speak when T1, he went through multiple monsters in the deepest floors of the dungeon, that's terabyte, go through everything that stands in the way, let nothing stop you, show them the terror of a real war tank wahahaha. Oscar, like me, did not understand it very well, but he still responds. Or, yes, T1, it's amazing. Right at this moment I remembered that T1 had the Rhino ability and its multiple functions. I wanted to show it off, but Clara stopped me by giving me a light kick. Yes, now that I remember T1, he has the Rhino ability, and he also has Mole, ouch, this, Clara. Miss Elizabeth, I hope you understand that you have knowledge that should not be counted lightly, the king would not like to know that you are freely giving important information to strangers. I tried to refute by saying that Oscar and Urza are trustworthy people, but I swallowed those words before Clara's cold gaze, and then Clara spoke. Or, just in time, the food arrived, I hope you enjoy the food. Urza and Oscar were looking forward to the food, even I could feel my mouth watering. The plate he brought us was a nice pure white, it had two big circles around it that were joined with lines, and in the center of the plate it was a pure white, it seemed as if the plate said food goes in here. Oscar was delighted by the food and Urza was fascinated. When he tasted the sweet orange juice he said, "How incredible, I have never tasted anything like it in my life, not only the juice, the dish is top quality." Clara happily says, Hi, thank you, some of these dishes are the king's favorites, and I'm sure he would be happy, hearing that his dishes are praised." Both Urza and Oscar freeze and stop eating. ESP, wait a moment Miss Clara, these dishes are the dishes that the king himself eats. Of course, after all, the king himself created these plates of food. After that, Urza and Oscar look at me asking for help. Oscar swallows what he had in his mouth and asks me, how much will it cost us? I think, what, money? Wait, now that I think about it better, I've been eating and sleeping for free all the time, I wonder how much one of these dishes would cost. I look at Clara asking for help, and as always Clara is saving me. Clara look at two and responds, "Don't worry, you are Miss Elizabeth's guests, so you won't have to pay anything, eat calmly at ease." I think, oh no, they're looking at me, those eyes full of respect hurt, please don't look at me like that, I can't tell you that I got this kind of food by becoming a mistress and was completely fooled by the golden dessert. Ahem, please finish eating, then we can talk quietly. After eating happily, Oscar and Urza thanked me for the delicious food. I responded with it was nothing. When we were about to talk T1, he asked me for directions. Apparently T1 had come to a path that branched off and he didn't know where to go. Arriving at T1's booth, a surprised Oscar says, "Wait a second, perhaps we were moving all the time while we ate." T1 responds with a yes. Oscar speaks puzzled. "Co, as it is possible, I did not feel anything at all, apart from how fast we were going. I remember that when we were in this part, it took us 3 times as long to get to where we were." Yes, you remember when you first saw T1, Oscar turned pale remembering it. Well, that was the speed in 2 of T1, he can still go faster. Needless to say they were surprised. Oscar asked with interest, "How fast is T1? I think, this is interesting, even I am intrigued by the answer, and I ask, T1, tell me what is your maximum speed?" "I'm sorry to disappoint you, Miss Elizabeth, but I cannot freely give that information." I think, it is clear that he does not want to give that information in front of Oscar and Urza. After he chose a path, T1, he began to increase speed, up to level 5. Oscar was speechless and said things like, "This is 3 kisses faster than a horse, impossible, impossible, how something so heavy can be so fast." We spent the whole afternoon like this until it began to get dark, and you spoke to me. Miss Elizabeth, it's getting dark, you want to eat inside or outside, you also want to sleep outdoors. I think, hi, I wonder what face they will make when they see the king's room, or when they see the bathroom. Besides, we are already close to reaching the town, the speed with which we will arrive is incredible. When the king said that we would arrive in 2 days, I thought this guy is crazy, but now I realize how big the world is. Sure T1, we'll eat outside, you could also call Clara as a bodyguard. As you wish Miss Elizabeth. Once we got down, Clara was waiting for us downstairs, and T1's lights were on. Somehow I was able to explain to them that T1 can use magic. Hello Clara, I need to take a walk, would you accompany me? Of course Miss Elizabeth. Oscar, Urza, they wish to walk a bit. Yes, it would be good to walk a little, sitting for a long time is not good for your health. Oh, it's G2, thanks for bringing the notebook. Oscar, Urza, what do you want for lunch? After choosing what to eat, we went for a walk with Clara. Everything was calm, until a scared Urza falls to the ground on his butt. You, an ogre, Elizabeth, a red ogre appeared, we have to run. When I turned around I could see the big red ogre. My father told me that this ogre was very dangerous, and to defeat him we had to take a group of 50 warriors, and even having victims, he could cut a warrior in half with his big axe or smash him to pieces with his big club. The red ogre was about 30 feet tall, he had muscular arms and a body as thick as a tree and an axe that was about the same as me in size, but once I met you and Clara, this red ogre was not scary and did not it looked as big as my father described it. I asked Clara calmly. Clara, you can eliminate that red ogre. Clara answers me with, that's easy, Miss Elizabeth, but first I want to check something. Oscar and Urza look at us in bewilderment, and seeing that Clara was calmly walking towards the red ogre, they panicked. Wait Miss Clara, that ogre is dangerous, it will kill her. Clara completely ignores them and keeps walking towards the red ogre. The red ogre furiously tries to cut Clara by giving it a vertical cut with all its might, but it was stopped by Clara's small hand. I, like the others, were stunned by what happened. Then Clara said, interesting, it has the same strength as the red ogres on the 8th floor, I wonder if there will be a dungeon around here. T1, remember this sector, it could be beneficial for the king. All this was said, while the red ogre was trying to withdraw his axe with all his might from Clara's little hand. Of course I didn't make it. Then Clara pushes the ogre with her own axe, making him fall on his back. Then Clara jumps on the ogre and chops off its head cleanly with her own axe. Then Clara goes down and waits for something to happen, but since nothing happened, she seemed surprised. I asked Clara, what's going on Claire? Well, as you can see, this red ogre isn't disappearing, and that's weird. What do you mean by that? Well, usually the monsters killed inside the dungeon turn into particles and disappear, but this one is not disappearing, so I currently have 3 assumptions. The first one is that the monsters that manage to get out of the dungeon become meat and bones. The second is that a dungeon can create natural monsters, and if they survive long enough they can leave the same dungeon. And the third is that there are intelligent ogres that can create weapons, and if this ogre that attacked me without thinking is intelligent, he was under the influence of a drug, poison, or some ability he was unaware of. I was completely lost. How is it possible to draw such a conclusion from a single fight and in such a short time? How intelligent Clara is. I looked at Oscar and Urza, but their open mouths told me that they thought the same thing, or so I thought. After Clara put the red ogre in her item bag, she approached Clara and Oscar and clapped, making a loud noise. Ki. Clara and Oscar screamed, but within seconds of realizing the red ogre was gone, they relaxed. What happened? Clara casually answers, nothing, just kill a common red ogre, and it's time for us to go back to eat. Wait Clara, did you eliminate the red ogre? Yes, because Mr. Oscar asks. Not for nothing. I think I'm imagining and hearing things, I need to rest, right Urza? Oh yes, I think the same. I think. This brings back memories, although it was just yesterday, I was just like them. Don't worry, after eating and taking a bath, everything will be fine. If you say so, Elizabeth. As we return, Oscar and Urza seem to have regained their composure a bit, and after a good meal we prepare for a bath. Clara said out of nowhere, Miss Elizabeth and Miss Urza will bathe together to save some water and energy. Mr. Oscar, you will have to wait for them to finish bathing. Urza, embarrassed, tries to refute Clara. Wait, Miss Clara, no, a bath is not necessary, they haven't shown much hospitality anymore. Don't worry, Miss Urza, this is an everyday thing. Which, everyday, but clean water is hard to come by without a mage on quests. On the other hand, if one has a mage, it takes a lot of time to fill a bathtub and keep warm. Don't worry about that, it's a problem, just enjoy the bath, and since Mr. Oscar doesn't know how to use the shower and the jacuzzi, you'll have to teach him, Miss Urza, but I don't know how to use it, Miss Elizabeth, I'll teach you while you bathe together. I understand. When I finished eating happily, Clara brought 3 golden desserts without warning. I couldn't help but get up and hit the table and shout and happily said out loud, it's the golden dessert. I scared Urza and Oscar, but right now I couldn't think of anything other than the golden dessert. Claire talks to me. Well, it would be nice to give him one, but it would be in bad taste if we don't invite the others. I could see, in the reaction of Oscar and Urza, that they were interested in the golden dessert. Urza asks me with shining eyes, What is the golden dessert? Apparently she also likes desserts. Hi, I don't have enough words to describe it, but it's super delicious, so much so that it seems forbidden. Urza's eyes seem to sparkle with anticipation. Clara doles out the golden dessert to the 3 of them on a small plate with a small spoon. Needless to say that by the time Urza took the first bite, she was wincing from the deliciousness of the dessert. Gold, Oscar was fascinated, but he was holding his composure with great effort. Urza tells me, yes, this is this delicious, Elizabeth, I had never tasted something so delicious before. It's also fluffy and sweet, it's even sweeter than honey. I thought this was honey, but it's different. Please tell me, Elizabeth. No, I implore you to introduce me to the creator of this recipe. I can see that Urza is looking at me with eyes as bright as stars. I think, now as I tell Urza, that these desserts were created by the king, with a pleading look I look at Clara to help me explain. These dishes are creations of our king, and only the king can decide whether to share the recipe or not. A stunned Urza speaks to Clara. Wait, Claire. I think I heard wrong, perhaps I heard that it was your king who created these recipes. Yes, Miss Urza. Urza was confused and shocked by the news, but was disheartened to realize that the recipe was from the king and logically she could not obtain it. After eating we entered the bathroom. Urza was delighted, she looked like a child playing as she asked, What is this? Woo, what does this do? This is for hair, this is the best. After spending 10 minutes rinsing our bodies in the jacuzzi and then Urza went back in with Oscar. While I was waiting in my room, T1 spoke to me. Miss Elizabeth. What happens, T1? It's about Oscar and Urza. What happens to those 2? Well, I would like to know where they are going to sleep. Well, I thought you could sleep here, T1. That request is unacceptable. Why not, T1? It's because this is the king's room. I think too, it's true, what is happening to me, I really got used to this place so quickly, but now is not the time to think about that. T1, so where Oscar and Urza can sleep? After asking Miss Clara, permission has been given for them to sleep in the dining room. We will remove the tables, chairs, chandeliers, and add a bed, blankets and pillows so they can sleep. That's convenient, please take care of it, T1. Elizabeth is already in process, it will finish in 1 minute. 1 minute later another door and a Paolo were created. What connected? The cabin of T1, my room, the bathroom and the dining room. I don't understand it, I don't understand how T1 works, Perhaps it can be expanded and contracted at the same time, and if it does, where does it save everything, or how does it get it out? I have so many questions right now. I wonder if T1 will have grown even more, although I don't think so, since when he made the outdoor room it didn't get bigger, only the interior part grew to its entirety. My head hurts. I'm not good with these types of thoughts. I'll ask T1 later. I approached the door and, oh, it's Urza and Oscar, they're coming out of the bathroom, hehe. They look surprised by the change in the environment. They're looking at me looking for questions, but like them I have no idea. They're approaching the door, apparently they think it's my room. Hello Eliza, Bet. Oscar, noticing Elizabeth's room, can't help it and screams. What is this room? It's incredibly luxurious. Urza, with a blow to the head, shut Oscar up. Oscar, don't scream, you'll wake up Wiki. I'm so sorry, and the bath was incredible, as Urza said, the bubbles were a real pleasure, we could even bathe our baby and it shines. Thank you for your hospitality, and we are sorry to bother you again. Could you tell us where we could sleep? That, they can't sleep here. With these words Oscar and Urza look shocked. This Elizabeth, we're sorry if we were too rude, but please don't kick us out. Wait, I didn't mean that, what I meant, is that you can't sleep in this room, so you'll have to sleep in the other room. Oscar and Urza relax and he guides them to the other room, and where there was a somewhat large bed, it has some white blankets and 2 pillows with a jug and 2 glasses of water. At first glance I can see that the quality of these items is inferior to those found in the king's room, but even if they are inferior, these are much better than what I could remember from Elsa's belongings, and a window panel so that they can see outside. I explain how the panel works glass, and before I go Oscar and Urza thank me. I return to the room and get ready to sleep. While getting ready I think. It was an exhausting day, but I was able to eat the golden dessert, it was delicious, but something worries me. I could see that they made a clear difference between the hospitality offered to Oscar and Urza. They treat them differently. It is somewhat understandable, since they are not allies recognized by the king, they are just my guests. Tomorrow is the day to show respect to the dead. I wonder what will happen. It is the first time I will go through this kind of situation, but before I feel scared, I feel confident and sure. I wonder what Clear and T1 was tomorrow, and I fell asleep with those kinds of thoughts.